It's just that always something within me was like guiding me toward different things that were bigger than me, and I didn't even understand it at that point in time. What is going on, family? That boy is back at it again. This time, man, this lady right here, I met this lady 2020, earlier in the year, right? She skyrocketed my productivity when it came to my aspirations and everything that I wanted to do within my journey. She hit me with the most truth aside from the shadow work that you all know that I've been going through. When it comes to anything that you want to do with yourself, self improvement, helping other people, starting a business, whatever it may be, she hit me with the most truth. And at the root of it all, to sum it up, she said that if you want it bad enough, there's no obstacle in your way that's going to prevent you from getting it. You will do everything in your ability to make sure that that's true. Not to mention that she is just coming off her third event with the Hire Club. That was fucking amazing, by the way. Absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, CEO Brittany Granger in the chair right now. What's going on with you? How you doing? How you feeling?
What's good? Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. How are you, Griff?
I'm doing good, man. Taking it one day at a time, staying low and slow, not forcing shit, walking into my power, allowing shit to come to me as it should. Just taking it easy. It's difficult sometimes, it's challenging, but it's all good though because I know when you have that inner knowing, you really ain't got to worry about shit. Because when you look in the mirror, you know that at the end of the day, you've always had your back, and you just got to remember that.
Facts. I was just learning about this the other day. It just came to my mind right now that like we spend so much time talking about the things that like are going wrong in life, or the things like we can't control. Like you're out there in Germany and Europe, and they're on their fucking second lockdown. Like, and the things that we can't control that kind of hold us back. But it's like instead of talking about those things, we stay focused and talk about the things that bring us energy, light, passion. Really, the things that keep us like. I don't want to use the term motivated because motivation is a myth, but that keeps us going. That keeps us focused. Like, okay, like these are the circumstances, but I can't change these. But what I can do is work on myself and change what's going on within. So, instead of, talking about all the things, like I like people like you that is like, oh, it's been going like this, blah, 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 whoopie woo. You're like, nah, I've been working on myself. I've been, striving and doing what I can, do for myself during these times. So it's fucking awesome. I don't know. It just reminded me of that right now that like, I like talking to you because you don't ever speak on like negative things. I guess if that's
Yes.
sense.
Yes, no, I appreciate that, man. I really do because it's so, like you said, it's so easy to focus on the negative things and or what we perceive as negative at that point in time. And it's interesting though because COVID has really forced people to sit down and look at their shit, the shit that a lot of people don't want to look at. And even still, being in a situation where you're forced to look at your own shit, people are doing any and everything within their power to not sit with themselves. And I've never been in the business of running away from my emotions, even if I didn't understand what was going on at that point in time. Even as a kid, I would always sit there and be like, whatever this is that I'm dealing with right now is something that I have to sit with because I know that it's going to make me better. I think I told you this before, and I see you like this too. You are, or we are the type of individuals that are willing to do the things that other people won't do so that way we can help the people that actually want the help. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand that road is tough. That road is hard because along that road, you said it yourself. You're like, ain't nobody gonna work on your business like you. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be you and you alone. You know what I mean? So I tend to shift my perspective when it comes to growth and understand that growing pains is beautiful still. If you choose to see it that way, a lot of people choose to see it like, well, it's annoying, it's irritating. I'm afraid of what I'm going to see. And it's like, well, that's why it's called growing pains. That's why it's called shadow works. Like all of the shit that you created growing up, now that you're in your young adult adolescent phase, either you want to transmute and ascend that shit or you don't.
Facts. And like honestly, can I hit my bong while we do this?
Yeah. You, woman, you in your own house. You gonna ask me?
I didn't want to be like bubble, 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 you know, while we talk and have conversations.
Hey, this is how you came to me. This is how you presented yourself. Who am I to try and tell you, nah, you can't hit your phone? What is this? Best believe me, when we in the studio, when I get that thing set up, you already know what's gonna be going down. So it ain't even a question.
You don't even smoke. Yeah, Jaffiel. Like I've always been like the type, to be honest, that was like I grew up where you couldn't address your emotions, especially growing up in Chicago. Like motherfuckers out there really just don't talk about shit. Like it's either I fuck with you or I don't fuck with you. And if I don't fuck with you, you're gonna know. And if I fuck with you, you're gonna know. So it's like even in my like own family, like we never really talked about like our feelings, emotions, and shit like that. I've always had to like oppress them, you know, and just keep them down because it just wasn't accepted, you know, as I guess I don't want to say it's culture, but it's definitely a different vibe. You know, it's not so open and honest. You know, it's more like you feel the way you feel, but feeling that way, like you're not wrong. Like I had to learn that I wasn't wrong because, like, when I was younger, like I was like, I shouldn't feel this way. Like, you know, I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that or I shouldn't be this way. But now I'm like, no, it's okay to have feelings. Like I think I'm still learning, I'm still growing. Like for real, I really don't know how to have feelings. Like I'm learning how to have more empathy for other people, you know, and understanding other people like who actually do address their emotions. Because me, I'm just like I just take notes, you know, like I'm very in the background, quiet. I just take notes. And then after a certain amount of time, I just don't want to take any more fucking notes because the notes that I'm taking aren't getting me or making any positive change, you know, it's just all negative shit. So I'm like, all right, then I just drop motherfuckers. Like I just disassociate myself from their lives. And then it's like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, oh, well, you know, and then it's like too late to even talk about it. Nobody even remember and shit like that. So I'm learning. That is something that I really need to work on is, you know, being open and talking and like addressing emotion. Like I've actually journaling's helped me a lot with that because while I struggled to talk to other people, like I had a therapist, but even then, like we need more Black therapists, like for real. It was hard to talk to somebody who just didn't understand anything about me or like my like how when you grow up in a Black family, you just raised different. You know what I mean? Like it's just different. And I felt like when I was talking to my therapist, I was judged, you know, like family dynamics and stuff like that. Whereas in our community, those family dynamics are a little bit more, I guess, normalized. So I found it like hard to talk to people, even like when I hired somebody to talk to. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like I'm gonna start this journaling shit. And I did. And it helped me a lot. It's just I still struggle with talking to people, you know, like being more, what is the word?
Transparent.
You know, yeah. But like I'm very transparent. It's just like being like
Transparent
instead
with
of
yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm cool with being transparent to other people, but like talking to myself, I'm like I try to like do like oppress. Like I shouldn't feel this way, even though I'm like I know it's okay to feel however I feel. You know, like it's pretty human to feel things. I guess.
Right.
Are
And
we
that
human or are we aliens? I don't really know.
not yet, at least. We know what we stand for, we know what we're connected to, but once it's all said and done, we gonna find out for real, for real. Um I it's it damn, this is really interesting because you don't the perspective that you just brought to the table, you hear that from the side of the man. You know, growing up as a young boy, like don't cry, don't feel your feelings. They don't necessarily tell you to suppress them, but all of the indoctrination is stemmed around us not being able to express our feelings because it's deemed as weak, it's deemed as not manly, it's not masculine. And you just brought a perspective to the table as a woman raised within a family of just almost kind of just like it's centered around strength. You know what I mean? It's like it's centered around strength only. And you're realizing now within your spiritual journey that there comes a point in time so that you got to face that shit. You know what I mean? And it's not like something you did yesterday or a week ago. We talking all of the events that happened as you were growing up with your mom, with your dad, while you were on the streets, while you were doing your thing, just becoming who you are today. All of those things start to come up to the surface. And now you are asking yourself the bigger question, like, how am I supposed to deal with something that I've never taken the time to look at myself? You know what I mean? And it's interesting because when we first met, I'm like, this lady's strong. She out here doing what she got to do because she has very big aspirations in mind, and she is completely stepping toward them in all of the right ways. But behind the scenes, you're able to come on here and say, look, even though y'all see this in the background, I'm still learning how to become comfortable with my emotions and understand that they aren't here to make me feel a specific way. Like they're not here to bring me down. They're here so that way I can learn something. And now I don't know if you know, but the chemical response within the brain for an emotion is 90 seconds. After that 90 seconds, it's gone, right? But as a child, you don't know that. You know what I mean? A child only feels. So when something happens, you're just feeling that same, it's like that same event is on loop in your head over and over and over and over and over again. And then you have another event and then it's over and over and over again. And then one day you get put in a situation to where you're forced to look at everything that isn't Brittany. You know what I mean? And even though you've established a solid foundation for yourself and you're building upon that, within that foundation, there's some aspects of you that you're realizing now that aren't you. You know what I mean? Aspects to you that you look at yourself and you're like, am I really this way? Am I really afraid of my emotions? Or is this just something that I was told and I've just allowed it to govern me throughout the rest of my life?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I was told. And then like throughout time, like you start, well, when we're younger, we find reasons to feel, we try to justify why we feel. But then it's like we go outside. Well, at least for me, I went outside of that. It was like, these are all the things that also made me feel that way, and then it like all comes together like a collaboration. And then it's like, well, fuck, now I'm in this place and I'm stuck here. At least that's what it feels like, like it feels like I'm stuck when really like I'm learning now. It's like, you're not stuck. You just got to get past it, like just work through it. Like you don't have to be stuck there. And like for so long, I held myself in the same mentality and it wasn't even positive, it was like to the world, I was, positive and, like always there for them and just really an outgoing and like genuine friend. Like I genuinely try to be, I was there for other people more than I was for myself. Right. And now, like, I'm only 23, but now I'm like, oh, as I grew up, like, even though I'm still fucking growing, is, I've realized, like, fuck other people. Like, if you, like, for real, like, fuck you. Like, honestly, like, it's about me, like, and I think everybody should have that mindset, like, when it comes to emotion. If you make me feel any certain type of, like, if you trigger a negative emotion, I'm going to take time now, as a 23-year-old Brittany and reflect on why I felt the way I felt. Like, what in my past led me to believe that this is how I should feel in regards to this? And then also, who are you? Like, why are you like in my life? And what about you, is more prominent? Like, are you more of a positive person? Like, or are you constantly triggering me into these negative emotions? Which I found that a lot of my family, like not just friends, family too, like they would trigger those negative emotions and I'd be stuck, like, fuck, like, what do I do? But the 23-year-old Brittany is now like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to go work on this. Like this, what I have going on inside, I don't need you in my life. I don't feel as if like you're positively influencing me. So, I'm going to go address these emotions and work on it, but I don't need you, and like, I never made that, like, had that boundary before, I guess, if that makes sense. Like I
Yes,
didn't put those
yes.
boundaries up, like especially when it came to my emotions, like I would just allow people to mistreat me, or allow people to, like sometimes I would feed off of their good energy, when I wasn't in such a positive space, like, and I was like, I can't do that either. Like it's not fair to them, to be in a negative space and not addressing it for myself and then going out and projecting maybe, unintentionally, but I try to be positive for the most part, but sometimes I think we project, our emotions out into the world, not even realizing it. And I know I do it. And like going and feeding off someone else's positive energy, and like it kind of kills the vibe. You feel me? Like after like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like people kill
yeah.
your vibe too. And it's like, fuck, like you should have just stayed your ass at home and journaled, read a book, taken a nap, a shower, just work, like go work out, do something else, but you should not have been in this, like, so I've had to really learn how to separate myself and like almost to the point where I'm such like I was a loner before, like I like being alone, but like now I'm like extra loner. Like you see, I barely like, hang out with people. I really don't like hang out with people like that because I feel like I'm just trying to understand myself so much that I'm like being around other people is too many factors involved.
I completely resonate with that. And what you're doing is employing more intention and attention into the people that you allow within your inner circle. You know what I mean? Because you realize like you're in a space of letting go of who you were, but you're not fully who you're becoming yet. And that requires a lot of energy because you're spending a lot of time with you in these deep sections of your life, learning about things that really triggered you. You know what I mean? And within that space, sometimes you're really not going to have the answer. Sometimes you're going to really need a safe space where you can go to somebody and be like, yo, I'm feeling like this. I just need you to listen. You know what I mean? Like you might not even be looking for advice. You might just really be needing a safe space to be transparent without being judged. You know what I mean? And that's also difficult because coming from that background where the background of what we came from of just really the survival mentality, it took us a long time to get to a place to where we're not judging ourselves. And now because we're in a headspace of not judging ourselves, when we come across somebody who we are being transparent with because of being transparent with ourselves, it takes a lot of energy to be able to decipher who you can truly be transparent with. You know what I mean? It's not just about letting people into your space. It's like who really sees you aside from the higher club, aside from you being an amazing woman, aside from you having all of these aspirations, all of these accomplishments that you've made already. Who at the end of the day can you call up that you know for a fact that really, really sees you and you can tell them this is what I'm going through? It's tough right now because a lot of people are really thirsty for the truth and they're not doing the internal work. You know what I mean? A lot of people out there really want something real. Like, oh, I need a real one, you know what I mean? I need a real man, I need a real woman, da 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 da. But the minute they come across it, they don't know what the fuck to do with it. It's like they've never seen it. And those become the people that you talk about when you end up being around those individuals. Not everybody, you know what I mean? It's not everybody. But when you're people like us that are rooted within who we are, within our identity, and you come across those people, one or two things gonna happen. They're gonna mine you down until they take all your diamonds from you, all your energy from you, and then they just gonna dip, or they just gonna suck everything out of you, all of the light out of you. And then now once they're going, you're left there feeling like something ain't right. You know, some off. And you knew something was off before you allowed it to get to that point. And so now you're just like, what the fuck did I do? Like, something ain't right
Then
with
you know,
this.
my Maggie told me. I swear, I knew. And we still do it.
Yeah.
It's like
We haven't learned the lesson yet. You know what I mean? We obviously we haven't learned the lesson yet, but I definitely agree with that. And I think a lot of people of your caliber and more people within the collective space really need to employ more intention and attention because like you said, it's your healing matters too. Your feelings
yeah,
matter too. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. Like a lot of people like to run away from their emotions or try to tell you not to be a certain way. Nah, player, like my feelings matter too. Like if you're gonna be in the inner circle, if you're gonna be a part of the Justice League, or you're gonna be a part of the Avengers, I need you to be that one. I can at any time that phone ring, what you need, I'm pulling up. Instantaneous transmission, I'm there. It's hard to find people like that these days. It's difficult. So it can feel like sometimes you truly are alone within your healing because at the end of the day, it takes that person to show you if you can really trust them or not. And you don't really like to test nobody. You know what I mean? You don't want to come off from a toxic place, but you're coming off from a place of respect for you and for what it is that you're building. You can't just have anybody around your business plan. You can't just have anybody within your energy because vampires, them boys out there.
yeah, and it's about like with like when you bring about like that topic of you can't have just anybody, like whether it be personal or business, like, and you got to know how to separate it too. Like out, like I don't know, just business perspective now. Like business Britain talking is like not okay. There's only a select amount of people that I have allowed into my business. I offer a lot of work for trade opportunities and stuff like that, but people that I actually put on a payment, you know, like it's they're selected, like hand select. I do the work for trade programs so you can prove, you know, like I feel like I have to be, you know, you have to prove yourself to me. But in my personal life, I feel like it's just throughout time is when, you know, you learn. So it's like having that boundary. It's like when, because I sometimes struggle, like I'll cut off people in my personal life, you know, like I would do somebody in business when it's really like, whoa, I should have actually given them time because this is a little bit more personal, and like not be so like, fuck you. You're like, either you're with it or you're not, right? Like it really, when it comes to business, you're with it or you're not. I don't need a maybe, like yes or no. So, but when it comes to personal, it's like, okay, you can be a maybe and I'm gonna allow you time to figure it out, because I feel like me as a person, I need that. But in business, I'm a yes or no person, so it's like having that separation is so important as well, because it's like I sometimes fuck it up and I'll just cut somebody off. I just be like, nope. When it's like, oh, they were a maybe, but I just nope. I don't allow people fuck with my energy. And I feel like one little thing, I'm like, fuck it. Just throw it all away. It's like sometimes you just gotta figure out, maybe there's something within me that is, I need to heal, and that's why I'm being presented with this, energy over and over again. Because obviously, if you're saying no right away, you obviously know what that energy can be. But I feel like we got to give things time, and sit with it. Like I've never sat with my emotions until recently, or like during quarantine, I did a lot of emotional work actually, and like really sat with myself every single day, just like, how do I feel today? What did I do today that, enhanced this feeling? And what did I do that enhanced this feeling? Like trying to put things into categories of like my actions versus my emotions. And like, I don't know. It's so interesting, like learning about yourself. But at the same time, you want to be around people who also are learning about themselves. Like I like being around you, Dorian, because like you're such a like, what is the word for men that is, you know what I'm talking about?
With
Like
this in a
very,
collective space.
yeah. And you're conscious on both the woman's side and the men's
Oh
side.
yeah. You're
Like
talking about
you're
the
trying to
divine
be aware
masculine
of
and the
both.
feminine. Yeah.
Yes. So like that's why I like talking with you. I fuck with you because I'm like, he gets it. Like he gets it. And I feel like more people need that guidance, like including myself, as like, because I feel like I've always been a tomboy, so I don't really connect with a lot of women. And like I'm a woman, so it's like sometimes I'm just like, some shorty just don't got it. And I just, when you want to help somebody.
I'm laughing because it's so true. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
You just be wanting to help somebody. And like I feel like I just be wanting to help women, but I feel like I've always been surrounded by like men like you that are just like, I don't know, like you're not emotional, but you are. And that's why I fuck with you, because like you are. And like you take time and sit with yourself and like understand, not emotional like you be crying at the function and shit. You know what I mean? Like not on some weird shit, but like you're aware of yourself and like how you feel. And like I need some of that guidance, like from you. How do you what do you do? Like what do you do? I know you be doing some crazy shit sometimes, and I ain't doing that. What is that? Where you like save your pee? No, I ain't doing none of that shit. But
Yeah.
like
That's
outside of
that's 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 something completely different. But like saving your pee and all of that, that's a whole another level. I trust me, I didn't even know that I'd be doing that shit to this day. So you and I both are still shocked. Trust me, you and I both are extremely shocked about that. Um, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. So for me, man, I've always been a very tapped in tune kid. Like just even when I was younger, you know what I mean? Like I was always asking myself the bigger questions. I never found myself really in the headspace of talking about like mundane shit because it just didn't resonate with me. Not that I don't fuck with it. It's just that always something within me was like guiding me toward different things that were bigger than me. And I didn't even understand it at that point in time, which caused me to spend a lot of time with myself. So it was I don't think I told you the story, but it wasn't until like 2014 where that I really hopped on a journey of, self-improvement, personal development, everything of that nature, because I've always felt like source came and knocked on my door at a very young age, and I accepted at a very young age. Not even knowing what I was accepting, I just said yes. And when 2014 came around, dark place, totaled my car, got fired from my job the same day, got no money. I'm like, how the hell I'm gonna pay these bills? I'm living with two friends, and in my mind, I have the perception that they're doing good because they're able to provide. I woke up one day and I was just like, I'm tired of feeling like a bitch because I know on the inside that that's not me. Like my
Yeah.
power is extremely profound. It's way too strong for this, but it was for a reason. So I spent a lot of time looking up things that our ancestors did or our elders did, as far as like journaling, meditation, things of that nature. I don't like to be perceived as weak, and I understand that there's always a duality within me or within any human being for that matter, and it's up to us to really balance that. You know what I mean? It Something always fascinated me as far as like being the king, being a king, having your queen, building a kingdom. But I always knew that there's a very strong responsibility that comes with that. Like motherfuckers out here, like I'm a king, I'm a queen, and it's like, yeah, it sounds good, but are you really ready to do what it takes? It's a responsibility. You can't just be walking around here claiming these things without knowing what goes under that. And for me, I felt like it was never about the title. It was always about being of service to other people because that's how I came about within this life. That's just what I was doing. I spend a lot of time looking at why I do things. I spend a lot of time observing the outside world, and I spend a lot of time observing myself, why I do certain things. Why did I get triggered within this aspect? Am I still upset about this? Like I'm in a space now to where I can see when it's my ego and when it's not my ego. You know what I mean? I think that that's one of the pieces of advice that I can invite you is like really, really take the time to look at when it's your ego within that moment and not necessarily you. So how do you get to know if it's really you or not within that moment? You just gotta spend time with yourself. Like you gotta get to a place, and I'm not saying like this is something that you have to do. I'm just going about it, explaining it to you. It takes time to really be able to trust yourself when it comes to knowing like how you truly feel about something, knowing that you can stick your sword in the ground and no matter what happens, this is my land. Like Brittany, you stuck your sword in the ground. This is it. Period. Like no questions after that. Like that's it. And it requires a lot of introspection. I would say that that's the word I was looking for. And for some reason, I couldn't find it. It's one of my favorite words. But anyway, introspection. And you're doing it, journaling, going back to what you wrote down because you already have the answers within yourself. You know what I mean? It's just that throughout the years, the conditioning has put up a veil of you being able to really see what's really you and what's not you. And so when you journal, you go back to that journal and you look at it, you get to see, you get to know, feel, and be in the present moment of where you were at that point in time. And so when you look back at it now, when you're 27, 28, you be like, damn, I remember that conversation that I had with Griff. I remember that conversation that I had with Lante. And I remember how I felt at that point in time. I remember when I cut that person off because they just wasn't doing anything right. And then when you realize that it's not that you cut that person off because they weren't doing anything right, you cut that person off because there's something within you that you aren't completely comfortable with yet because it's within you. It's the same thing when you get triggered. You get triggered and you're like, oh, this person cut me off, or she did this, or she fucked him up, whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, that happened, but you're triggered for a reason. It's like a catalyst that brings about the root cause of whatever you're crying of, whatever you're pissed off for whatever reason. Go head first into that, no matter what it is. And you ask any of my friends back in New Orleans, they would tell you like, and anytime we needed something, like I was the guru within the no guru at all, no master for the people that's listening, no master, no guru. I'm walking up the mountain just like the rest of y'all. Um, they would always come to me. They would just be like, you have this resonance. You just know. Like anytime you step in the room, like you just know. And for a long time, Brittany, I didn't trust that. I didn't trust that. I didn't trust my own sovereignty. I didn't understand it. I didn't feel like I was worthy to be able to like fully represent that to the world today. I'm very big on it, man. Like, yeah, if you talk to Alliance, like he'll tell you, like it's a confidently humble thing. It's not about me being above nor behind somebody. I'm trying to get you, or I would like you to get yourself to a place where that you trust you. And the only way you can do that is by surrendering into what you know. Nobody can tell you that. You know what I mean? For a long time I didn't feel it. And now I see it and I feel it. Now it's like there's no in between with me. When people get around my energy, it's like I'm either Black Jesus or I'm the devil. It's like facts though, honestly. It's like on the devil's side, they're like, why is he asking questions? Why is he and not just asking mundane questions, oh, like what's the weather like, what's sports like? No, I'm asking like, how are you? How are you feeling? How are you healing? What's going on? People that have said, why is he acting in that manner, just lets me know that they're not on the same frequency as me. That doesn't mean that I'm any better than them. It just means that they don't really see me. It's okay. It's not my responsibility for them to see me because I see me. You know what I mean? Introspection. And always, and always, it may happen today. You never know. Like the way that I look at it is like, you know, like in the Matrix when bullet time happens and like everything slows down, it's gonna happen to you. There's gonna come a point in time where that you're gonna remember this conversation, you're gonna be doing something, and it's gonna be like poof. And you're gonna be like, cut this person off or look at it. And it's just gonna have like this little meter and it's just gonna be going down. And you gotta decide at that point until you gotta decide. So which one you're gonna take. It's difficult or it's more challenging to take the route of the self because that takes more energy. Chicago, Brittany, done. Headshot, it's over. It's comfortable. That's comfortable, but I know you enough to know that you're in the headspace of growth. You're in the headspace of completely optimizing yourself as a woman, as a human being, as a CEO, everything on the table. You know what I mean? So it takes energy to always choose growth.
Facts. You know, and I actually, oh shit. Sorry, I dropped something. I looked up the definition introspection just because I like to know everything by definition. I don't know if you noticed, I post like every week is a new word. I post on my story. I actually put it as like my background. So like I have Dynasty this week.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I might have to take that up, man. I like that.
Yeah, it helps me learn new words because my vocabulary, I have a really strong vocabulary. I just find it hard to speak to others in the same sense, I guess, if that makes sense. See, like my mind moves so quickly. So this has helped me like kind of like learn words that can mean a lot of things. So that way I can, you know, simplify, but still, you know, be on that same wavelength. Anyways, introspection, the examination or observation of one's own mental and emotional process. So it's like a self-analysis, which is like, okay, like cool. I do that for sure. And like, I honestly, when you bring up like learning about the ego and, you know, like, or is this actually is this who I really am? Or is this, you know, the egotistical side? And it's okay to have both, right? Like I feel like in order to run a business, you need some sort of ego because you really got to fucking believe in your damn self and cheer for yourself and just be your biggest fucking fan. And I feel like you need a fucking like a pretty big ego to do that, you know, like on my soul. So, you know, but it's, you know, when to tame it and when not. And like recently I had a situation where it took me a couple of months. Like I just, you know, eliminated myself from the situation. And I was like, you know, I'm going to think about this. I'm actually going to think about this. Like not just be so like, you know, middle fingers up and just put my ego aside and realize like what parts of me were my ego and what parts of me were actually me, because sometimes they correlate, you know, and the situations will bring out both sides where it's like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. And now my ego's talking because sometimes I get defensive, you know, like I am very, like, I don't want nobody to fuck up my bubble. You feel me? Like, don't pop my bubble. So I don't know. So you feel me? Like we're in a bubble now. And I was like, okay, wait, before I decided that I don't want to let this person pop my bubble because I might need my bubble popped to learn some new shit.
Right.
Because if you're in your safe zone, right, you're in your comfort zone all the time. And like I do that with people, you know, like not so much in life. Like I'm very spontaneous and do whatever the fuck I want and just full send everything. But like my personal life, I am very like, okay, this is my comfort zone. Like I have like 4 friends, so it's like, you know, it's hard for me in that bubble, you feel me? So yeah. I was like, I had to take time and like sit with it. And I was like, you know what? Like I should start deflating this bubble, you know, and like, yeah, not with everybody, you know, like just, you know, with certain people, like, okay, I can let you inside this bubble a little bit. You get a little bit closer, you know, and just progressively do that. And I was like, okay, it took me a couple of months and I was like, you know what? You should just go for it. Put your ego aside because your ego is talking at this point in time, but this is actually how you felt. So like it's understood, but like put your ego aside for a second and just be open to something, you know? So I was like, okay, here I am. I'm being open to it. And like, I feel great about my decision. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I'm like, oh, okay, like this isn't actually so bad. Like, it's not that bad actually. I'm kind of fucked with it. It's cool. So like, I
Yeah,
feel, you know, when you feel like a lot of weight, you just, I feel like it lifted off moving, you know, I feel like
yeah,
I'm not upstream anymore.
yeah. And that swimming upstream is resistance. You know what I mean? Like I know you are a woman of manifestation who your spirituality connection is extremely strong. So just like your vision, what you manifest is extremely important to you because you understand that how critical that is for what it is that you're going to achieve within this life. So when it comes to taking the path of least resistance, like I said, that within itself is energy because it's a surrender to. I said it's like surrender is the thing that everybody wants, but everybody's afraid to do because it's like, okay, well, what am I surrendering to? It's like, well, that's the thing. You, if you just let go, you know what I mean? If you just stop trying to do things or stop trying to keep people out of your bubble, and you already know that you're a walking magnet. Big Sean said this, and I've been around your energy. So I know what it's like to be around somebody who vibrates high, but at the same time, who is very protective of that vibration. You know what I mean? So whoever is meant to come into your life, they will come into your life. They will align with you. Whoever is meant to come into your inner circle, business or not, you're gonna know if they align with you. Either you fuck with them or you won't fuck with them. And if you don't fuck with them on that level, that's cool. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta, you ain't gotta middle fingers up, but you can still respect them where they're at and just know that they aren't allowed in. You know what I mean? It's just like Kendrick Lamar said, he's like, why are you looking at me because you ain't get an invitation? It's like, you just didn't get an invitation. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. I respect you. It's cool, but we not here. You know what I mean? And I think that it's critical for people to really, it's all about being seen. You can't just let anybody in who is infatuated with an idea of who they think you are. Like people see who you are on IG, people see who you are when you business Brittany, but do they really see Brittany at the end of the day? Like those are the people when it comes to the inner circle that those are the ones that you want to stick around you because they see you. They're not afraid to call you out on your bullshit. They're not afraid to be there next to you when you on your knees crying, and they're definitely gonna be there supporting you all the way up. You know what I mean? So I spend a lot of my time really paying attention to who aligns and what doesn't align. And if they don't align, and if it doesn't align, it leaves automatically. You don't even gotta. Sometimes you can give them a little boot. You know what I mean? Sometimes some people need a little boot, but other times, like anything that doesn't serve you or that's not conducive to you becoming your optimal self, it just falls off. So you better not have to worry about it. You know what I mean? So it's a it's challenging, but I trust that I'll make the right decision. You know what I mean? What was it? It was I was just watching this video. What's this dude's name? Billionaire something. Billionaire PA, I think. Yes, I'm gonna have to send it to you. He had a TED talk and he basically said that he made this quote, said, there's no point in me spending time with people who I don't see myself in the future with. It's like, why are you around me then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that resonated like wholeheartedly, like inner circle and business. Like if I don't see us together, winning together in any means necessary, then why are you here? Respectfully. Well,
Yeah.
why more a better statement would be, why am I here if
Yeah.
I don't see you?
Yeah. What do I have to learn from this? Like that's how I see it. Cause I definitely I feel that 100% like why am I here? Sometimes I have to ask myself, where am I? And like I do
Mm.
that a lot. And people are like they kind of just like look at me and I just, you know, in my head I'm like, where am I as in like who are these people I'm around right now? I'm not gonna say that in front of a bunch of a whole bunch of people I just met. I'm like, who are these people? You know, they're like looking at me now, like, who are you? Like, you're right, where am I? Where am I? You know, like I don't know any of you. So I have to ask myself that often. It's like, where am I? Like and just really enjoy what's around me or see what's around me and be like, is this what I'm attracting right now? You know, and try to shift,
Mm.
right? Because it's not always positive, right? You know, like life ain't always, you know, all fucking sunflowers and daisies and shit. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like you could be your own sunshine. You know, you could be a sunflower, you know, and realize like, oh shit, I'm a sunflower in the hood, I gotta go. Or it's like I'm a sunflower in a sunflower field, you know, and the times where you're in the field, it's like I'm here, I'm meant to be here. I really need to enjoy this. And the times where it's like I'm not supposed to be here, it's like I need to evaluate this and see, you know,
Exactly.
why am I here? You know, like
Exactly.
where am I?
Hey, that's the statement of the day. Where am I? Why am I? That's the statement of the day. Man, I find myself asking that a lot because it's like you're not gonna dim your light, period. But when you are in a situation and you just vibrating so high, and you again like times you just look around and you like, these motherfuckers ain't talking about shit. Like they're not like they're not talking about nothing. And you just sitting there like you just watch and you watch because you know that you've been them. You know what I mean? Like you've been at that level. And again, it's a respectful thing. I'm not making it seem like we are above y'all. That's not what I'm doing. It's just
Just have different conversations.
right. It's just different conversations. Like I need something that mentally stimulates me. Like there's nothing wrong with laughter. There's nothing wrong with talking about basketball, sports, and all of that. But when that's all you talk about, like that's
What
all
else?
you talk about. And then the minute I start talking about something or you start talking about something, you can that's how I kind of test motherfuckers sometimes. I'll bring up something small, real small. I'll just throw a sentence in there. And how they respond to it lets me know everything I need to know right there in that moment. It's like, all right, we ain't even about to go the full 24 seconds with this. Nah, it's good. No, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna just keep it moving, player.
My favorite question to ask when people ain't talking about shit, like people will like just kind of look at me and then I'll just randomly say, "What's your passion?" Like that's a loaded question. Like it's not really actually, because if you know you have a passion and I get that response, because you know like some people really just have to think about it, and I'm like, damn, like you really don't know. And I realized like, hold on, like you know, I'm at a different vibration, and that's okay. But this question is not going to help them, you know, level up, you know, and get to the next place. But I'm like, it also lets me know who I can have conversations with, because I want to talk to people who already know their passion. I don't want to be with so many people. Like I love to inspire. You know, aspire to inspire, you know, like, so it's not that I don't mind it. I just really just genuinely feel like you are the 10 most people you hang out with. And I want to hang out with motherfuckers who already know, who already been doing it, who's already made, you know, money off of their passion, you know, like who's already where I want to be. Like respectfully, sorry, not sorry, like disrespectfully if that's how you take it, but like it's really just like I can't fuck with anybody and force. I can't even force myself. I really just cannot be fake. Like I can have a small conversation with you, but I probably won't talk to you for the rest of the night. You know, like I will find at least one person, you know, in a group that I can have an actual like conversation, especially if we're smoking weed and you ain't talking about shit. Like you can't talk about aliens or something, you know, like some conspiracy theories, you know, my quotations around that, because whatever. But yeah, I just like, I feel like if we can't have a higher talk, you know, if we can't talk at a different wavelength, then I don't want to talk to you. Like unfortunately, you just won't get blessed with the presence of talking to me, and that's okay. Sometimes you just be in the party fucking bored and realize I need to just fucking go home now.
Hey, take
Sometimes
my
you
ass
have a,
home.
yeah, like sometimes you bring somebody there and it's like they having fun and it's like, okay, you know, I want them to have a good time. I'm gonna just go chill by myself, smoke. Like I will eliminate myself. And people sometimes might find it like, I don't know, standoffish, or you know, people always like, she mean, blah blah blah. Like, no, I really just don't like you, and that's okay. Like I don't need to. You know, like, and I don't need people like me either. Like I don't, I I personally feel these people just need to forget the aspect of being liked, because if somebody like you, that means they're meant to be in your life because you are who you are. And if they don't like you for who you are and they got all these things to say, it's just like you really don't need to be here. You can go do your own thing. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And our paths might cross again because we know same people, but outside of that, I ain't fucking with you. Like, like
See,
so.
I like that because it's like that kind of transitions into how people see relationships nowadays. You know what I mean? When it comes to being liked and not being liked. So like, I want to kind of pick your brain on that. A lot of people are in the headspace of only, it's like they need to feel liked and accepted within a platonic friendship, a romantic friendship, whatever, a romantic connection, whatever that may be. But do you think that people tend to focus less on a connection and just focus more on what they can get from the situation from a business standpoint and from a personal standpoint? You know what I mean? It's like they're not concerned with also speaking life into you. They're only concerned with you speaking life into them. And 9 times out of 10, they don't even know what it is that they're drinking at that point in time. You might even drown them, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So, what's your take on that? You think a lot of people just aren't that tapped in for them to be able to like truly feel the connection and vibe off that, or are they just so focused on like what they can gain from the situation?
See, I feel like I've been both personally. I can only speak from my personal experience, like I can't, it's hard for me to say like and generalize it because I think everybody's different. Everybody has different role models growing up on how a relationship is supposed to be. So, everybody's different and everybody has their own picture, right? But if you stay focused on that picture and don't allow, it's like showing up to the art show with um all the pictures or having live art, and I feel like a relationship should be more like art where you paint together, and do things like how I see it is everybody has their own fucking life, right? Like everybody has their own life and everybody has something to offer. So why focus on what they can give and what you can get out of the situation and just focus on creating something together? Like in my personal like area, I just rather, I like knowing that we can benefit each other. Like I feel like that is a part of a relationship is there's a lot of benefits to it, like that one provides to another and so it's like it's another person and somebody that you genuinely care about, like obviously you're gonna take care, right? But at the same time, it's like, okay, I know they're gonna take care, but it's just a matter of like painting that picture together, learning each other's love language. Like why force, to be anything, like I know how I am when I love hard, right? And like I use love, like my friends, like I know how I treat my friends, I know how I treat somebody in a relationship based on the love that I have for them. And I just feel like the only way you can learn about that is to not focus on what they're giving to you and focus on what you can give to them. Like, how can I be of service? Like,
Yes.
how can I benefit your life as well, and still be myself? And if you can't, then peace out. Like, there's no, be friends, there's no need to like waste time. I don't know, but I also haven't had many like relationships because I guess I just have a high ass standard for life. I'm a fucking boss. I already know that. So
Facts.
I need somebody to that it's a good balance with that. So,
Right, right.
but that's just how I see things. And if somebody can't paint the picture with you, it's like let's just have our own canvases and just do life, separate but together.
Yeah.
Just enjoy each
Like
other's.
I like the way you put that. Yeah, it's really, especially in our generation today, man. Like a lot of people speak about communication and being transparent. To take it full back circle to what we talked about earlier, and it's like if you can't even be transparent with you or communicate with yourself, ain't no way you're gonna be able to communicate with me. Especially somebody like who is moving, how you moving through life is like, bro, we if we gotta have weekly talks, hey, Sunday, 12:45, we're gonna sit down, you're gonna get this coffee, and we're gonna see what the fuck is going on because we need to always be here as much as we possibly can, you know what I mean? And I agree with that. And like there's you, there's the other person, and then there's the relationship. Or there's the connection. The connection is much better because a lot of people tend to like you put a title on shit and then people lose their fucking mind nowadays. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. So
But we have many relationships. We don't just have
exactly.
so it's weird. I'm in a relationship. Yeah, we all are motherfuckers. Like, come on. So
Yeah. That's man. That's a whole nother topic in
right.
itself. But I'm gonna digress on that one. But yeah, it's just mainly focusing on a connection like within your inner circle and within business too. Like I find that a lot of the people who at some point in time I would like to create some form of inner circle with them or people that are in the online space, like even though I've met you in the physical, I'm in a whole other country right now, you over there, you are somebody who is on the same frequency, somebody that can maintain their own frequency, and they can bring a lot of value to the circle because the circle works for everybody else. You know what I mean? It's like this is us because we're here to support each other. Not everybody is allowed within this. So like I don't it's difficult, especially with being a man to a lot of men in my generation, a lot of young men or in our generation, I should say, they don't feel comfortable speaking about anything. You know what I mean? Like they don't feel comfortable sharing their emotions in regards to anything. So I'm like, how do you claim to want all of these things, but you can't even sit down with yourself and find out exactly what's going on with you? And I mean, I said this before. A lot of people like the idea of Mufasa. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people like, he glowing in the sun, top of Pride Rock, da da da. But nobody wants to do the integration of Scar, and that's just as powerful. That's equally as powerful. Um, what's because I know that you are within a collective space within your own vessel. What are some of the things that you see within the collective space today that could use a dusting, for lack of better terms? Like, I mean, I don't know how often you scroll through social media, but I'm pretty sure you know that everybody is in this woke and awakening state. Let me put it to you like that.
Get me started. Again, I don't know. I definitely feel like, what do you mean by it? Well, ask the question again.
So what do you see within the collective space that is that's toxic? There we go. Like what are some toxic traits within the collective space today that you see?
People not finding information for themselves, not doing the research. I feel like if everybody just kind of looked into like whatever it is that you want to know about, it could be anything. There's so many topics in this world to learn about, and I feel like so many people would rather just hear what somebody else has to say instead of actually doing the research to figure out what it is, and it is what it is, right? Like, so you can't just go off of, let's say you see somebody on social media who's on this topic is the same topic as you. Like, you can't just listen to what they say. Like, you really need to do some due diligence and look into it. And I feel like, us as a whole, people in general, we just need to do more due diligence and, question everything, like question everything. Like, why not? And then, try to find the fucking answer. Like, it's not that hard. Like, we literally have like phones, and they are portable laptops basically, and you can do anything on this motherfucker. So it's no excuse. Like, everybody has a fucking phone nowadays. Like, it's the new norm. If you don't have a phone, people are like, what do you mean you don't have a phone? I'm like, what do you mean you don't text? Like, what? Like, it confuses people. It confuses me. I feel like a phone can be an asset or a liability, and if you buy a phone, especially if you have an iPhone, these motherfuckers are not cheap, and so many people have them, right? It's normal. And if you buy this motherfucker and all you do is look through at other people's lives and take whatever they're saying and use it to manipulate your story and however, you want to express that knowledge. And sometimes that shit ain't right, like sometimes you gotta do a little bit of digging and figure out like, okay, there was some parts of that were true, but not all of that is true. And this is a better way to understanding that because this is more true, and our phones gives you that outlet. So either you're looking at other people listening or you're looking at things for yourself. You're making money out. You can make money off your phone now, like there's just other things that you can do for yourself. And I feel like more people need to do that for themselves, and just learn. That's it.
Is it that more people just don't want to? They rather just take the easy route. You know what I mean? Like they rather just have somebody else give them, like you can give them the information, you can lead them to the water, and they're like, okay, now that I see it, I don't want it. You know what I mean? It goes back to them having ideas. Like I think a lot of people need to find out, like you said, like they need to find out what absolutely works for them instead of digesting everything because everybody's trying to grab your attention right now, but not. I think what did they say? What did our parents say at some point in time? What did they say? Not everybody a friend. You know what I mean? Like not everybody that you come across really means you well. And it's the same thing with the people in these online spaces. Like, yeah, they might be saying something that, they got a little sprinkle on the top, that look good at the end of the day, but does it really serve you? Are you eating from it? Are you digesting it fully? I think that is absolutely critical for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really just people just lack of
Self.
yeah, they don't even trust themselves, so they can listen to anything and trust it because they be telling lies to themselves. And that's how I feel about it. Like I just think that if you're honest with yourself, if you're honest, in general, just honesty in a whole, it will, that will be portrayed in life, and you will question it. Like you're not going to just believe it. You're going to go find the facts. You need facts. You need factual evidence in order to know if something is what it is. So I think that so many people are just fucking lazy or want to be gullible or ignorant. And it's a choice at this point because the tools are in our hands, like
yes,
learn
yes.
anything from the palm of your hand. Maybe get some headphones. You could be anywhere, learn anything, and it's a choice. I think that so many people don't make, like they just, they are making a choice either way, but they're choosing to just be lazy.
A consumer.
Yeah, just simplest terms, it's just lazy. Like, it's not that hard. And if you want to know about something, like, why not just learn about it? Like for real. It doesn't make sense to me to just not go deeper. If something interests you or sparks that light in your head and you're like, huh, what's that? Like if it grabs your attention, like why not go learn about it? Go see what's up. Like just go see what's up and go deep, go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. You can't put that intrinsic value into people though. Like, you know what I mean? Like you come across people and you keep it a G with them no matter what it is. Like you said it earlier, like you can't depend on motivation. So what happens when you don't have motivation? What happens when you're stuck inside of a hotel room for 2 weeks because you quarantine, but you can't go to the gym? You're just not gonna do anything for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's like that. It goes back to that. Like it's like people want that intrinsic drive to be put in them, and it's not like feel like I think it can be made. I think it can be built. I'm not sure. But when you're individuals like us that's built different, like no matter what the circumstances is, like you best believe like we winning. That's it. There's no
always
questions
something that
about
you can
it.
do. Yeah, and there's always something that you can do. You can express yourself in many different ways, especially when you're stuck in the space. Like I went on Amazon, bought some fucking little weights for the crib. I have a stripper pole. I go outside running. Especially when there was fires. Okay, that's how I felt in Cali when there's fires. I felt like I was you in quarantine right now. Like we couldn't go outside because couldn't breathe in the fucking air. And then it was like everything was closed, so you couldn't go outside to go inside somewhere. Couldn't go out nowhere. Couldn't do nothing. Couldn't do nothing except sit at the crib. So I was like, what the fuck do I do? I'm so used to everything that's here, right? Because it's your house, right? It's made for you to feel at home. And most times when people feel at home, they're relaxing, right? They're not working. And it's like, I don't know. For me, I just created little spaces that I would go to do specific things, and, just fucking like, if you know that you do something at least beneficial to yourself every day, like you could go to sleep happy. Wake up in the morning, make your bed. You already started off like on the right foot. Just don't get your ass back in that bed unless you're gonna take like a nap if you need to like, regenerate. But I think I only sleep like 4 hours a night and then like I'll nap like 2 hours during the day. That's just what works for me though. So it's like that's what keeps me going. Then I can also have my late hours where ain't nobody fucking talking to me. I can work on myself, I can journal, I can read, and, nobody's blowing up my phone and shit like that. It's just you. It's just you with yourself. And I feel like more people just need to spend time with themselves, and just, take advantage. Like you're in quarantine, you're locked in a hotel. Hotels fucking suck because there's none of your shit is there, right? It's like, what the fuck do I do? Buy books, go on walks, just sit outside and tan and meditate. Like literally, I think my favorite excuse to be lazy is to meditate. And like, it's not even being lazy, but it is at the same time. Like I will sit and meditate for hours just because like I mentally cannot motivate, use that word, lightly, but like I can't get myself to do what I know I need to do. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go meditate. Like, because it's still working on yourself, but you ain't gotta do shit, you know what I mean? Like you just gotta be within yourself, and like I would do shit like that, and it helps actually. Like if you sit there for a couple hours and you realize you didn't do shit for a couple hours, you're like, damn, all right, now I'm gonna get my ass up, because you're probably gonna go in and out within yourself, throughout a meditation of that length. But at the end of the night when you go to sleep, you're like, I worked on myself. I actually talked to myself today, and and I wouldn't have had this opportunity if I wasn't trapped in this hotel, because if I wasn't trapped in this hotel, I'd be doing other shit. Like I'd be doing other things. So it's just like accepting, what your blessings that you have, and just realizing like, okay, maybe that's not exactly what I want, but this is still a blessing nonetheless, and I accept it, with open arms. That's, I guess it's a mindset more than it is to have to actually act.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that was well articulated. I completely appreciate that. At one point in time, I was losing my mind in quarantine, but I knew I was like, all right, I'm here for a reason, so let's just go in. Let's just go all the way in. So like yeah, like ain't nothing else. Like there's only one way to go Super Saiyan, and it's definitely not by distracting myself. So that's like all the wisdom that I can take that thing in. Just started doing breath work more, sunbathing. I rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender because there's a lot of wisdom within that, and I just really took a lot of time to look at what I didn't look at before. And then when you come out, it's like, all right, you the cocoon, and you still in the cocoon, and it may be cracking a little bit, but you're not fully blooming yet. And that's one of the ways that I like to look at 2020. It's like we all tightly knit in our own version of this cocoon, and it's dark as fuck at times. But if you come out too early, the butterfly dies. So, like you said, like you use that time while you have it. So a lot of people will look back on this time and think, damn, I should have, or I wish I could have. It's like, but you had more than enough time.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we always have the same amount of time. Like that's not something we have more or less of. It's all the same. But it's what you do with it. And it's like there's no excuse now, like there's no I had to go to work. There's no, for some people, there's no, they didn't really have to leave the fucking house at all. So there's no excuse, And then people use, now it's like if they have families and shit, oh, I don't have the time. I have this, I have that. And it's like, you don't have this or that right now. So, what did you do with that time? Did you supplement it for things that were non-productive? And that's why you felt as if, you didn't have time. Like for me, I don't know. It's all the same amount of time. And I think that 2020 will help people realize that we've always had this time. You just didn't prioritize it. And some people still aren't. And then we're going to come out of this like, fuck. And then we're gonna come out like hell yeah, like I feel great, I feel really able to go for my goals head on now that I did the inner work. I've been doing the inner work for a whole motherfucking year. We've been doing the inner work, hopefully. So it's like now it's time to do the outer work. When things open up, I can go on network, I can feel more comfortable with people and all that. Like right now I feel like there's too much hostility. It just makes it very difficult. I feel it. I'm very unaccepted everywhere I go. Like I don't feel, and I guess that goes back to like the need for being accepted. But I feel like in society, I can't even go grocery shopping with being like terrorized, like for not wearing a mask. Like, bitch, I'm not sick. Like I'm not sick.
Facts.
Yes. What do
Yes.
you want from me? Like I'm not sick. Like if you're scared, then wear the mask. But if you're not sick, then you good. Like
Or if
you
you're not
good.
scared, yeah.
You just gotta put the fear aside and just look at the facts. They don't want to look at the facts. So, I think it's good though. I think that everybody will figure out, once things, everybody says that this is the new normal. I don't believe it at all. I don't think that America's going to go for that. I really don't. I don't think us patriots, can go for that. And it's going to be interesting to watch it transition back, but it's going to be so different because so many people have learned a lot about themselves. So many people are treating people so poorly based on weird beliefs that don't even, really have anything to do with us as, spirits, at all. Just things that are so man-made, like they're not going to go with us to our next life. You know, they're just here right now, you know? So I think so many people like, they're like, oh shit, I focus way too much on that. I should have been focused on this. And then, you know, the people who are like us, like, you know what, this is great. I'm a loner anyways. And I really needed this. So I'm going to use this to my advantage. You know, I can't control everything, you know, so I'm going to do what I can and control what I can. And usually that's just yourself. So it's like
Yeah,
control anything outside yourself, really.
exactly. I appreciate that for sure. Y'all heard the woman. You know, you can't control anything outside of yourself. And if y'all not using this time wisely, J. Cole said it himself, life will bring much pain. Choose wisely. Brittany, what you got to tell the people? What's one last gem that you can, you know, let the people know what's going on? Give them something good, something that they can remember, something that they know when they see your face, when they see that llama all over the world, they gonna know it. This llama dropping gems right now.
Yeah, just be authentic, you know, be unapologetically yourself all times. You know, it goes back to the emotions, to the facts, to the everything, you know, just be authentic, you know. Just do you, be yourself, love yourself, you know. And there's sometimes you might not love something about yourself, but then you gotta look at it and work on it. And if you don't like something about yourself, you are the change. You know, you can do whatever you want. So, you know, it's up to you. Make the decision and change it or don't. But just be authentic.